Welcome to ObServing Erie, a video interview series that focuses in on artists and thought leaders in the Erie community who dedicate themselves to creating a better city. Tune in for insights, ideas, and inspiration from people who are just like you and me, and are putting their passions and, dare I say, obsessions into action, going beyond just talking and are walking their walk. Tune in to learn more about ways you can support your community and get involved as well. Our main goal, though? Empowering the community by sharing our observations, honoring the differences in the community that, believe it or not, connect us all, and lastly, shed light on community topics that are important to growing a better society at large. Because oftentimes, what you can't see or know that exists falls off the radar. So let's take a look, learn a little, and get active in the growth and development of our own city. Mistake on the lake? Dreary? Okay, well, let's see if that's so true. In today's episode of ObServing Erie, we're focusing in on a local small business owner and socially conscious product designer. Her name? Rachel Miller. Oh, I'm recording, sorry. Hi. You may have heard about her. She's been around talking about her Blue Serenity accessory and jewelry line, which offers tactile amusement and also aids those who have social anxiety, PTSD, ADHD, an autism spectrum disorder, or processing disorders. Basically, if you find fidgeting comforting, this may help soothe your nervous system as well. In this video, not to spoil the ending or anything, Rachel and I end up talking about disability and coping in a modern workforce, the local TechCelerator being offered by Ben Franklin Technology, and also, I clap a lot, because it's hard not to get excited about a woman hoping to calm anxieties, soothe our isolating feelings of being too weird, and excuse me, wait, did she just say she wants us to have more fun in life? Okay, I think a little fun could do Erie a ton of good. What do you think? Alright. We are on here.
I know. Sorry, it's so hot.
Oh, I love that your shoes are sparkly too.
Oh, always. Yeah, gotta have sparkle. The more the better.
Yeah. This brings me back to being a kid.
Did you ever have one of those rain sticks?
I actually made one.
Did you?
Yeah, in elementary school. So maybe that's what this is.
But we didn't. None of us knew why we enjoyed them so much. The knowledge wasn't there. But yeah, that they make that sound in yoga now. I don't take yoga, but I've heard different things.
Okay, hello everyone. This is Rachel Miller. She does a lot of cool stuff. Currently, we are sitting in her store called the Elusive Fox Boutique, which sells a lot of locally made goods by artists and craftsmen. Is that what they call themselves?
Craftspeople?
Craftspeople. That's right.
I call them artisans.
Artisans, yes. And we're actually here today to talk to Rachel about her sensory jewelry line. And it can only be said if you're like this. Yeah. So, Rachel, I would love to hear more about what you're doing, what kind of jewelry you're making, and why.
Well, I have to specify it's not just jewelry. It's jewelry and accessories because there's stuff for men too. Do you want me to give you a little backstory?
Yeah, well, actually, now that you mentioned that it's for men too, I'm curious to hear what kind of things you're making for men.
Do you want me to start with?
Yeah.
Are we going to?
Go for it.
Okay.
We'll just be led. Yeah.
So I have social anxiety. My husband has PTSD because he's a veteran. My oldest son has ADHD and my youngest son has autism. So I started with these things because I've seen these in bigger forms for kids with autism. But I started making those in slime. One night I was sitting on my couch making them and I was like, no, there really isn't anything for adults like this. I mean, you've got the fidget spinners, but those are loud and distracting. You can't really use those in a boardroom.
Yeah. I've tried actually.
So
this is my favorite one. So.
I was like, I'm going to do some research on this and see if there really isn't anything out there, and if there isn't, why not? They have necklaces that are big and bulky. They're like silicone. They're chew toys basically for kids.
Oh yeah, like teething kids,
yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Or kids with anxiety, but for little ones. They have a few different things here and there, but nothing nothing this fun, nothing geared for adults. So that's when I started, since I'm a tactile person, going to the store and like testing out different products and different materials and seeing what I could put together and what I could do. Since I started out with the sensory tubes, then I went to the miniature sensory tubes. And I was like, okay, these are cool, these are necklaces, you know, they're great. But I was talking to a trusted mentor, and he said, you know, I would even play with this if it was on a keychain. Light bulb. So I started making them into keychains. And then I decided to branch out into different things because aromatherapy is a big stress reliever. But how can you make that portable? You can't just bring like a bottle of lavender essential oil with you. It could break, it could leak. And
I know I have done that. So I would bring them with me. And it was nifty because I'd overhear people that were stressed out or complaining about certain things. I was like, you know, I have some peppermint. You need some peppermint? So
yeah.
So which ones are you have aromatherapy?
So these ones are the aromatherapy, these three. I did this one for myself, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to add something sparkly to bling it out. And I had it on my keychain. I took my husband to the casino, and afterwards he goes, well, he holds my keys for me. Afterwards he says, you know, I was holding on to that thing and rubbing it, and it made me feel so much better. I wasn't so stressed out because of the crowds and the noise. And for a veteran to admit when something helps a condition that they don't really talk about, it was like another light bulb. So I started attaching different things to the outside. So what you do with those is you unscrew the top, and there's lava beads inside, which are very porous. And you just do a few drops of essential oil, fragrance oil, and it lasts for
it's not open the whole way.
Yeah. I think I did that one about a month and a half ago. I haven't refreshed the scent at all.
That's really cool. Yeah. The fact that it's in the balls, they soak them up, so
yeah.
You don't really have to worry about it.
There's no liquid sloshing around. I've never had one leak or. And then we have the tactile, which are fully customizable.
Ooh, yeah, this one has the
silicone. I call them bristles. They're not really bristles because they're soft, but I mean, like, you don't really have names for these. Like, I'm like, okay, yeah, so I can add this back for this feel. It's not like a technical term. You know, this is all new anyways.
So these are the different, you can customize jewelry and accessories for different people depending on what their favorite
feel
is. Yeah. If you want to tell us a bit about them.
Well, this is faux leather, so a lot of people like the more natural fibers. This is just like the metallic nubs. This is the rougher side of Velcro, the softer side of Velcro. This actually looks like it should be flat, but it's got a slightly grainy texture to it. And then, of course, the fake fur. And this one is my bestseller. Everybody always loves this, and they will literally sit there and just be like, it's forever play with this. So.
Yeah, I can definitely understand why.
Yeah. You just proved my point. So I have these ones. They can have different words on them, like brave, faith, dream, like anything like. So it'll really resonate with the individual person.
So you get them engraved.
No, I actually buy them. They already have the words. But I'm going to be working with a person that does engraving, the CNC machine, and all different things like that. Yeah. So I'm going to actually be collaborating with another new company to make these even more local and interesting.
Especially with the amount of manufacturers we have in Erie. When I worked for a marketing company, we focus on manufacturing. So I have a lot of knowledge about CNC machinism.
I remember they're awesome to watch.
Yeah, they're so fun.
Yeah.
They're just as hypnotic as you know.
Yep. So these can be completely customized. In one of my practice pitch classes, one of the guys piped up because I'm the only female there out of 6.
Talk a little bit about what that program is and everything that you're doing right now.
It's the Ben Franklin TechCelerator. And they have different startup companies and brands apply, and this round was, I think, 67 companies applied, and then they choose 6, and I'm the only female that was selected.
That's exciting that they had such a, like, it was very popular.
Oh, yeah.
Too. Yeah.
Well, it's like I think it's 12 weeks, and it's a crash course, like every single Wednesday from 9 a.m. until 12:30. They just dump everything on you, like all this information from customer development, internet, website design, finances. Like every week it's a different thing, and it's just literally overload. And then for 2 hours afterwards, it's one-on-one with a mentor and one of the people that's leading it. So you get like all these mentors that are just sitting there going, "What can we do for you?"
So
it is amazing.
and they've been doing this for a few years now, right?
Yep, and they do it in other places too. It's not just Erie. It is one of the best things that I've ever done. One of the best chances that I've ever been given. They said it's like thousands of dollars worth of stuff. And then at the end, we pitch in front of investors and who's who in the city of Erie and all these big names for $10,000. So I have a 1 in 6 chance of getting $10,000.
And that's coming up too. That's
August 21st.
21st. Where's that?
That is at Knowledge Park in Penn State, or on the campus of Penn State. And I think it starts at 5. Yes.
You excited? So
Yes.
that's coming up really fast. Does
Yeah.
that mean it's at the end of it? Or
Yep.
are you halfway through the whole program? Or has
We have 3 more classes.
it? Wow.
And I'm second to pitch, so if you're not there by like 5:15, you'll miss me.
So come support. Come support.
Yes, it is
Rachel.
open to the public. There's going to be food and drinks and networking and lots of fun.
That sounds right. And you said it was free.
Mm-hmm.
Open to the
Yep,
public.
completely free.
I love free stuff. No.
Every week we do our pitch in front of the cohort. They help us refine it and, fine tune, and you need to change this or pivot here. And one of the guys was like, "Can you make one more manly?" And I was like, "Sure." So we came up with this, which is like, it's like a bullet. And I actually have something else in the works that my husband suggested, but I'm not going to give away any secrets, but it's definitely manly.
All right.
He said it's something that a veteran or a cop or somebody like that would not be ashamed to have on their keychain.
I know, because I tend to run ADD, most of the people in my life that I come across who I bond with tend to be in that realm of needing something to play with to help them stay focused. For me, I chew gum, I play with my jewelry. My boyfriend is a drummer, so if he's not playing with something, he's tapping, he's playing the drums even though they aren't there. So I can definitely understand how, specifically with guys too, because a lot of them get labeled as ADHD when they just need something else to kind of like keep them grounded.
Yeah.
They have so many thoughts and they want to get doing stuff.
It's funny you would say grounded. In doing this TechCelerator, we have to do a lot of research and decide, okay, is this what we want to do, or do we want to focus more on this area or this area? And so I came across the 5 grounding techniques.
Wow.
The 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding technique.
Oh, I just learned this the other day. Yeah, from a therapist. They teach their people.
Yeah,
clients, consumers.
Yeah, and it's big. The University of Rochester touts it, and if you type in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding technique, it'll come up with tons of results. So if you're feeling that anxiety and stressed and overwhelmed, you focus on 5 things that you can see, and you describe it to yourself, and then 4 things that you can feel, and just focus on those, feel them, describe how it feels to you in your head. If you want to do it out loud, you can. And then 3 things that I totally
Is it
blanked.
hearing?
Yes, 3 things that you hear.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And,
I was just going through the sentences. I
yeah.
was like, the next one, is it? Okay.
And then 2 things that you can smell, and then 1 thing that you can taste. And so by this time, you've calmed, you've grounded yourself, you focused on something other than the
The thoughts in
the
your head.
thoughts, the way your body's reacting to your stress. Like these are, look, and here, because they have the beads inside. So that takes care of 2 of those. These are look and feel. These are look, feel and smell. So the only one that my products don't touch on
Or the taste.
is taste.
And luckily, that's just one of them. So.
But I'm working on something.
Oh
for
yeah.
that.
That's really neat that you have so many things coming up.
Mhm.
And are most of these ideas, they just keep coming to you the more people you talk to and
The
tell
more,
them?
the more people I talk to, I'm always open to suggestions. Or like one of the things when I debuted these at Gears and Grub, I had a lot of people stopping, and I would have a conversation for like half an hour with one person, and they would tell me what worked for them and what doesn't work for them. So I'm kind of like taking in all these little tidbits of information and using them. So yeah, I'm really excited about the taste part. And that's another thing that will most likely be a collaboration with another company here in Erie.
God, I love collaborations. Getting everyone involved. I know when I first heard about what you were doing, it had to have been on Facebook. I was like, oh my gosh, that's perfect. I feel like the only way I survived in retail, just for myself, I have sensory issues where I have auditory processing disorder. So all the sounds around me, I hear everything. I actually have a hearing aid that gives me a white noise so that it kind of clouds out that noise.
Yeah.
It's been helpful. But one thing that helps is grounding myself and playing with something and being in my physical environment. So the jewelry that I tended towards were ones that flipped around and they rotated a lot like these here. And that just helped me so much because a customer could be talking to me, I'd be like, just,
Yeah. And
they
half
don't
the time
notice.
they don't even notice.
No, and it helps you. So I was like, oh, I definitely need that.
Yeah.
That would help me so much. And a lot of people that watch my YouTube channels, because we all have our anxiety.
Yeah. One of the biggest parts about this whole thing is it's not just jewelry and accessories. It's about education. It's about, because a lot of people that I've talked to are like, oh, that's why I do that. They'll fidget or they'll do something specific and they don't know why. And then, so when I, talk to them and I say, these are the symptoms of social anxiety. These are the symptoms of autism. And they're like, well, that's why I do it. And then when they realize that, then they can start doing research and learn how to cope. Because when people in our generation and older, when we were kids, there was no autism label. There was no ADHD. You just sucked it up and dealt with it.
And if you fidgeted, they would tell you to stop doing that, like hold it in. And so then you're holding all this in your body, and that tense, if you're not getting it out physically, if you're a very moving kind of person, and that helps you. Dancers, they can't sit still.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that. They're meant to move. That's their purpose or drive. But if you're told at a young age to hold that in, that's not allowed, then it can be held in your body, and you can get aches and pains, you can get sick, you can get anxiety especially, because you feel like you are repressing a part of yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So we all grew up without the coping skills. So now you've got all of these adults in this toxic workforce, which most workplaces are, especially for people like us that feel and sense everything so strongly. And nobody knows how to cope. They take medication, drugs, alcohol, isolate themselves, So I think it's really important to not only give them the tools to cope, but give them the knowledge of why they feel this way. And we're not weird, we're not abnormal, we're not misfits of society. We are actually, those of us on the spectrum of all these things, have a lot to give society. That if given the chance, like one thing I want to do is hire people that are autistic, social anxiety, PTSD. If they want to help, to put this stuff together, they can sit there with headphones on listen to music or whatever helps them. They can take breaks. Heck, I'll even have a nice comfortable couch that they can lay down on and take a nap if they need to, because if that's going to build their productivity and their self-esteem, that's going to contribute to society. Why wouldn't all employers want to do this?
I have
You
to
know?
clap that. I'm currently in a position where, due to disabilities, I can't work in a normal work environment because of that constant focus. You aren't allowed to take certain breaks. The sound aspect, where I have no control over my environment, really. And so I've had to find freelance or working from home, remote kind of jobs, especially part-time, so that I can rest and come down from overstimulation. So the fact that I've been trying to find jobs out there that accommodate all that, and hearing that there is a job or there is a business out there that is willing to accommodate people that have these issues, I'm like, yay! See, I didn't know that coming into this interview, and so now I'm like, I have to. This is like a big one. So thank you so much for considering that.
Definitely. Yeah, I have this whole vision of this whole safe space where, I can't really, there's not a big, broad job spectrum that I can provide to people, but who knows, maybe it'll start, it'll get the attention of other businesses and other companies to want to try and implement this. And I did read a few articles where some places are starting this, but it's going to be an uphill fight. It really is.
Yeah.
So some of the statistics that I learned, there are 40 million people in America alone that have all these different things. There is, I believe, 3.6 million of them are getting help. I'm getting the numbers all wrong, but the percentage goes way down, and the unemployment rate is 17%. So it's we could fill all these jobs with these people that are not incapable. They just need a few little changes, a few little tweaks. And we're doing it in schools for our kids. So why not do it in workplaces for the adults?
It is really refreshing to hear that other people are thinking of this and seeing that need and want to be there. So I've worked with local organizations like the OBR and help people with disabilities find a job. But if you can't work a certain number of hours a week, they can't help you. So it kind of has a cutoff. Yeah. And there are people that want to work, and on their best days, they can. So they're out there. And they are thank you as well.
Yeah. So I'm really hopeful that this will be a good way to educate and help change things, even just in Erie. Because if you look at all of the therapists in Erie, you've got the VA, how big that is, and all of the rehab places. Erie is full of all these different places that are helping these people. So there's people that need the help. Therapy is amazing, but you can't take your therapist with you. Hey, come sit at work with me. Talk me through when I'm having an anxiety attack. So this is really going to be amazing.
So excited. So what's next for you then? You've got your pitch night. After that, is it just kind of world's your oyster?
Well, I'm in talks with other businesses to have my products in a hospital gift shop. I want to go to nursing homes and try and get my products in there. So just different little places. I am working on a pretty big product that ties in with all of the tactile stuff. The tactile steering wheel cover.
Oh.
So.
Ooh. I can see how that could be helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially rush hour.
Yeah. When you're driving, can you really sit there and play with a fidget spinner?
Not really.
No. So this would make all the different tactile things right on the steering wheel. You don't even have to take your hands off the steering wheel. Just move your thumb over them. It has so many possible potentials to it. Not only road rage, cut down on road rage, cut down on driving stress, keep people awake when they're driving long hours. Truck drivers. Yeah. So it has a lot of different aspects to it that I'm excited about.
See, I think one of my chronic illnesses, I have narcolepsy. And so I fall asleep or I doze. And one of the places that it's often for people to doze is at red lights. It's very brief, but if you're tired and you come up to a red light and you relax, you just naturally I don't have that part of it. Yeah. I lose concentration. That's where my dozing comes in. But having that, focus on that. Yeah. So, all these ideas.
Yeah. And then eventually my store is going to reflect more of the 5 grounding techniques. So it's going to be one section here for smell, one section here for, these are all the feels, you know.
See, I just imagine Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory. It's like the wallpaper. I forget what the terms he used, like the strawberries taste like strawberries. And so I imagine, I don't think that'll be, very hygienic. But
probably not. But it'll be a whole experience, a sensory experience to come in and shop.
It also kind of reminds me of when you're younger, they have those Discovery Kids workshop places where you just get to go and have fun and all kids, and you connect with your senses.
That's right.
Why did we have to lose any fun?
I know. I was thinking about that. I went to the beach yesterday because that's my
safety,
my calm place. Yes. And I took my shoes off, walked in the sand, was looking for beach glass in the rocks, and so my feet are touching the ground, my hands are touching the ground. I'm listening to the water. I'm feeling the breeze and the sun. And what do kids do when they're outside playing? They're barefoot 9 times out of 10. They're climbing in trees. They're, building tree houses or building snow forts in the snow. Yeah. They're touching the earth. They're being grounded. And then as you grow up, you can't go out in public without your shoes on. To see an adult just, out there climbing a tree. I mean, we get away from that. The grounding that we started out with. So I wonder if the majority of kids are happier and more carefree. So.
I was actually thinking the other day, I grew up in a really rural kind of community, so I had woods all around me. I built tree houses, I climbed trees, I got hurt.
Bilbo Baggins of the Shire.
A ring.
All of that. I went biking in the woods,
walking in the creek.
All that kind of stuff. And moving up to Erie is a lot more urban. And I wondered, I saw some kids riding a bike past me the other day in this area. And I wondered what it would have been like to grow up without that wooded environment and how disorganized I might have felt, but at the same time I wouldn't have known any differently.
Your body would have, I think, though.
Yeah.
Like in some internal thing.
And that's why we can get stressed out so easily too, just surrounded by concrete all the time. And a lot of people pick up gardening and plants around. Those are important.
Yeah.
Like, save me.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's another reason why, we have animals, we have pets. Because they're more grounded and they help ground you. I mean, you've got the soft fur and the sound of the purring.
I have a German Shepherd puppy. She just turned 1. And sometimes if I'm just spacing off and I'm kind of stuck in my head, she'll come up and she'll start licking my feet, and that literally started grounding. Like, hey, what are you doing? So community, connecting with other people, that's also very important for grounding.
It is.
And if you're stressed about connection, especially if that's what a work environment oftentimes does, then we got a lot of really good, interesting topics talked about here today.
We did.
Is there anything that you might be interested to hear from the viewers? If they're curious to learn more, the website.
I do have a website. It's actually Blue Serenity is underneath my business at the Elusive Fox Boutique. So It's the elusivefoxboutique.com, and then you can buy all these products there or in my store if you're local. What was your other question?
I know you have how about social media?
Okay, yeah, I do have a Facebook page for both, the Elusive Fox Boutique and Blue Serenity. I think it's Blue Serenity LLC. And then Instagram is the same for both. I just started a Blue Serenity YouTube channel, but I have like no followers, and I've only done like 2 quick videos. So yeah, everyone's like, you gotta do a YouTube channel and get out there, and I'm like, I'll try.
That's exciting. I love YouTubes. Yeah, I know when I started my channel, it was in 2007, and I started it because a friend of mine mentioned that maybe talking about your depression will make you less sad. Actually telling people, talking to people, and it built community. Right. And that community has stayed with me for over 10, 11, 12 years or so. Yeah, we're in 2019 now. Yeah. And it's still, the best feeling is when I get a random email or message online, or they find me on Facebook and they say, when you made this video, it changed my life, and I appreciate that you put that out there. I'm like, oh my gosh.
That's the best in the world.
So I wish you all the best with your YouTube's channel, and of course your business here. I'm excited to see the new projects you come out with, and especially the ones that cover the taste section of it. I'm sure a lot of people are excited about that. So
and
thank you so much.
If anybody wants to, give feedback and say what they like about the products, or what they, if they're excited to try them, what they don't like, I love feedback. So any feedback would be greatly appreciated.
Right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank
Rachel.
you.
Let's do a hug.
Okay.
Oh, and I love your tattoo. I just noticed it. It's right here, right?
This?
Yeah.
That's my fox.
That's so great. Okay. Well, thanks guys for
Thank you.
tuning in. See you later. And big waves.
Big waves.
Okay.
This was so much fun.
I think I'm still recording the audio.
Did you notice we both end up leaning forward?
I'm so excited.